25 strangest laws from around the world. Did you know that in Switzerland, flushing your toilet at night can actually get you in trouble, or that in Thailand, stepping on money is considered a crime? Oh, and in Florida, you better not be caught singing in a swimsuit. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, these laws are 100% real, and trust me, it only gets weirder from here. Today, we're counting down 25 of the strangest, most bizarre laws from around the world. Some of them make sense. Others, well, let's just say they'll make you question reality. Let's get into it. Which one of these laws is the craziest? Drop a comment below and let us know. Law number 1. Switzerland, no flushing after 10 p.m. Ever felt guilty about flushing the toilet late at night? Well, in Switzerland, you actually should, because it's illegal. Did you know that flushing your toilet at night could make you a criminal in Switzerland? Yeah, you heard that right. Alright, picture this. It's late at night, you just finished eating way too much spicy food, and nature calls. You head to the bathroom, do your business, and then, you realize you live in Switzerland, and flushing after 10 p.m. is illegal. Yeah, in some Swiss apartments, flushing your toilet at night is considered noise pollution and can actually get you fined or reported by your neighbors. Authorities believe the sound of rushing water might disturb the peace of sleeping residents. Now, imagine trying to explain that to the cops. Sir, I swear I just had to go. Switzerland is famous for being super clean and orderly, but this law might be a bit extreme. Some landlords enforce this rule strictly, while others let it slide. Imagine having a bad stomach and being forced to wait until morning. Not exactly ideal. While the law isn't always actively enforced, some residents have actually complained about neighbors who flush late at night. If you ever move to Switzerland, be sure to check your apartment rules. Otherwise, you might have to choose between being polite or holding it in all night. Apparently, the idea is to keep things peaceful at night, but let's be real. If you gotta go, you gotta go. But hey, at least you're not getting fined for feeding pigeons, right? Well, unless you're in Venice. Speaking of weird rules, let's talk about why you shouldn't feed the pigeons in Venice. Law number 2. Italy. No feeding pigeons in Venice. Think feeding pigeons is harmless? Well, in Venice, it could land you with a hefty fine. So, you're walking through Venice, enjoying the views, when suddenly you see a cute little pigeon. You pull out some bread, toss it on the ground, and boom, you just broke the law. Venice, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, has a strange law. Feeding pigeons in St. Mark's Square is strictly forbidden. In Venice's St. Mark's Square, feeding pigeons is illegal because these little guys were destroying historic buildings with their droppings. Yep, millions of dollars in damage. The city passed this rule to protect its historical buildings from the damage caused by excessive bird droppings. The fine? Up to 700 euros. If you get caught feeding pigeons, you could face a fine of up to 700 euros. So if you ever visit Venice, keep your bread to yourself, or you might end up with a very expensive bird feeding experience. Imagine trying to explain to your friends back home that your dream vacation got ruined because you got arrested for feeding birds. For years, tourists would gather in the square, tossing breadcrumbs and enjoying the sight of hundreds of pigeons swarming them. But these birds started causing serious damage to the ancient buildings and statues. The cleanup costs were ridiculous. But that's not the only strange law in Europe. Wait until you hear what Germany bans on highways. Speaking of fines, in Germany, you can actually get in trouble for running out of gas on the highway. Law number 3. Germany. No running out of gas on the Autobahn. Running out of gas is annoying, but in Germany, it's actually illegal. Alright, road trippers, this one's for you. Germany's Autobahn is famous for having no speed limits in some areas, which sounds like a dream, right? Until you realize that if you run out of gas and stop on the side of the road, you just broke the law. The Autobahn is famous for having no speed limits in certain sections. But here's the twist. Stopping on the Autobahn for any reason, including running out of fuel, is against the law. The Autobahn is famous for its no speed limit zones, meaning cars often drive at 200 kilometers per hour or 125 miles per hour or more. A stopped vehicle is a serious hazard, so stopping for any non-emergency reason is a big no-no. Why? because stopping on the Autobahn is considered preventable negligence and can get you a big fine or even a suspended license. German authorities consider this avoidable negligence. Their logic? If you run out of gas, it means you didn't plan ahead, and stopping on such a high-speed road can be extremely dangerous. Drivers are expected to check their fuel levels before hitting the road. So if you're planning a German road trip, make sure your tank is full, unless you want to pay the price. So if you're in Germany, keep your gas tank full, or you might find yourself paying way more than just fuel costs. But if you think that's strict, wait till you hear what happens if you step on money in Thailand. Yeah, speaking of unexpected fines, wait until you hear why stepping on money in Thailand is illegal. Law number 4. Thailand. No stepping on money. In Thailand, stepping on money isn't just rude, it's actually illegal. This one, it's serious. In Thailand, stepping on money is a criminal offense because their currency has the king's face on it. And in Thailand, disrespecting the king is a big deal. Thai currency has an image of the king, and in Thailand, showing disrespect to the monarchy is a serious offense. Accidentally or intentionally stepping on a baht note or coin can land you in big trouble. So if you're in Thailand and drop a few baht on the street, do not step on it to stop it from blowing away. That simple mistake could land you in jail. Thailand has strict lèse-majesté laws, which punish anyone who insults the monarchy. Since the king's face is on the money, even stepping on a fallen bill could be seen as disrespectful. If caught, you could face a fine or even jail time. So, if you ever drop money in Thailand, be careful how you pick it up. Using your foot could be a costly mistake. But let's talk about a law that might actually benefit your relationship. If you're in Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday is illegal. Speaking of unexpected fines, let's talk about Samoa, where forgetting your wife's birthday is actually illegal. Law number 5. Samoa. Forgetting your wife's birthday is illegal. Husbands, take notes. If you live in Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday isn't just a bad idea, it's literally illegal. You might get in trouble for forgetting your wife's birthday, but in Samoa, yeah, it's actually against the law. Now, the punishment isn't jail time, thankfully, but local authorities can fine you, and your community elders will definitely humiliate you. And honestly, that's probably worse. Samoa has a law that punishes husbands who forget their wives' birthdays. While the penalty isn't officially listed, offenders can be fined or scolded by local elders. This law exists because family honor is extremely important in Samoan culture. Forgetting a birthday is seen as disrespectful and can be reported to community leaders. While jail time isn't involved, public embarrassment definitely is. So, if you're married in Samoa, set a calendar reminder. But hey, if you think that's crazy, just wait till you hear why you're required to smile in Milan. Forgetfulness isn't the only weird crime. Let's head to Milan, where smiling is mandatory. Law number 6. Italy, Milan. You must smile at all times. Feeling grumpy? Well, in Milan, not smiling in public is actually illegal. Ever had one of those days where you just don't feel like smiling? Well, if you're in Milan, tough luck. It's technically illegal not to smile in public, except at funerals or in hospitals. An old law in Milan requires people to smile at all times, except at funerals or hospital visits. Yeah, this old law still exists, and while it's not really enforced anymore, imagine if it was. Ma'am, I'm going to have to give you a ticket. You look way too serious right now. This law was introduced centuries ago to keep spirits high in the city. While it's rarely enforced today, technically, you could still get fined for looking too serious. So, if you ever visit Milan, keep that smile on your face, even if you're having a bad day. But let's take a break from ridiculous smiles and talk about something really unexpected, singing in a swimsuit in Florida. If you think that's strange, wait until you hear about Florida, where singing in a swimsuit is actually illegal. Law number 7. Florida. No singing in a swimsuit. Love singing in the shower? Well, if you're in Florida, singing in a swimsuit could technically get you fined. So, you're at the beach, sun's out, you're vibing, and you start singing your favorite song. Well, if you're in Florida, you just broke the law. Yep, there's an actual law that bans singing in a swimsuit in public. An old Florida law prohibits people from singing in public while wearing a swimsuit. While it's not actively enforced, it's still technically on the books. Why? No one really knows. But we're guessing some lawmaker just really hated beach karaoke. This law was likely created during a time when public decorum was strictly enforced. Authorities may have been trying to limit public distractions at beaches or swimming pools. While you probably won't get arrested for belting out a tune at the beach, it's still one of the strangest laws in Florida's legal history. So, if you ever visit, maybe keep your karaoke indoors. Now let's head to France, where kissing on train platforms was banned for the most unexpected reason. Law number 8, France. No kissing on train platforms. Love is in the air, except in French train stations, where kissing was once banned. In 1910, France banned kissing on train platforms to prevent lovers from causing train delays. It may sound crazy, but back then, long, emotional goodbyes often held up departures. As more people traveled by train, passionate farewells caused serious disruptions. Officials needed a way to keep trains on schedule, so they outlawed kissing in stations. While the law still technically exists, it's not actively enforced. However, if you're in France and the train's about to leave, maybe save the romance for later, just to be safe. But that's nothing compared to Australia, where changing a light bulb without a license used to be illegal. Law number 9, Australia. No changing a light bulb without a license, Victoria. Need to change a light bulb? If you were in Australia, you might need a licensed electrician. In the state of Victoria, there was once a law stating that only a licensed electrician could replace a light bulb. The reasoning? Electrical safety. Authorities feared that untrained individuals might electrocute themselves while handling electrical fixtures. While the law was eventually scrapped, it's still one of the most bizarre rules in modern history. Today, Victorians can change light bulbs without fear of getting fined, but it still makes you wonder, how did they even enforce this rule? But if you think that's weird, just wait until you hear about Canada's strict coin limits. Law number 10, Canada. No using too many coins in large transactions. Got a lot of spare change? In Canada, don't try to pay for something big with it. You might get in trouble. Canadian law limits the number of coins you can use in a single transaction. For example, you can't use more than 25 pennies or more than $5 worth of nickels to pay for something. This law was designed to prevent businesses from getting overwhelmed by massive amounts of coins. Imagine trying to buy a car with thousands of pennies. It would be a nightmare for cashiers. While businesses are allowed to accept large coin payments at their discretion, they legally don't have to. So if you're in Canada, don't expect to pay your rent entirely in loose change. Speaking of strict laws, let's talk about Japan, where being overweight is actually illegal. Law number 11, Japan. No being overweight, Metabo law. Imagine stepping on the scale and realizing you're breaking the law. Well, in Japan, being overweight is actually illegal. In 2008, Japan introduced the Metabo law, which requires companies to ensure their employees maintain a healthy waistline. For men, the limit is 33.5 inches, or 85 centimeters, and for women, it's 35.4 inches, or 90 centimeters. If you exceed this, you could be required to undergo weight loss counseling. Japan has one of the lowest obesity rates in the world, and this law was designed to prevent healthcare costs from skyrocketing. Companies and local governments are held responsible for ensuring employees stay within the limits. But don't worry, no one gets arrested for gaining weight. Instead, companies can be fined if too many employees exceed the limit. It's a unique approach to health, but it makes you wonder, could this ever happen in other countries? Now let's move to the UK, where handling salmon suspiciously is actually a crime. Law number 12, UK. No handling salmon suspiciously. You can buy salmon, cook salmon, and eat salmon, but in the UK, don't you dare handle it suspiciously. The Salmon Act of 1986 makes it illegal to handle salmon under suspicious circumstances. While it sounds hilarious, this law was created to stop illegal fish trading. The UK wanted to crack down on black market salmon sales, so they passed a law that allows authorities to question anyone with a suspicious-looking fish. What exactly makes a salmon suspicious? That's up to the police to decide. So, if you ever find yourself walking around the UK with a mysterious-looking fish, make sure you have a good explanation. Otherwise, you might just find yourself in some legal deep water. Speaking of odd restrictions, did you know chewing gum is banned in Singapore? Singapore's chewing gum ban, a costly habit. Law number 13. Singapore, no chewing gum. Love chewing gum? Well, in Singapore, that little habit could cost you thousands of dollars. In 1992, Singapore banned chewing gum entirely. The reason? People kept sticking used gum in public places, like elevators, sidewalks, and train doors, causing expensive maintenance problems. The government decided to eliminate the problem altogether by banning the import, sale, and consumption of gum. Today, you can't even bring gum into the country without a medical reason. If caught chewing gum illegally, you could be fined up to $1,000 for a first offense. Repeat offenders, they can be fined up to $2,000 and forced to do public cleaning duty. So, if you're visiting Singapore, leave your gum at home, or be prepared to pay the price. But that's nothing compared to Alabama, where fake mustaches in church can get you fined. Law number 14, USA, Alabama. No wearing fake mustaches in church. Thinking of wearing a fake mustache in church? If you're in Alabama, you better think twice. It's actually illegal. In Alabama, there's an old law that prohibits wearing a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter. Apparently, lawmakers believed church should be a serious place, and gag mustaches were just too distracting. This law dates back to a time when public behavior was strictly regulated. Officials were worried that pranksters would disrupt church services with their silly disguises. While this law isn't actively enforced, it still exists. So if you're ever in Alabama and feel like wearing a fake mustache during Sunday service, maybe save it for later, just to be safe. But Alabama isn't the only place with bizarre rules. Let's talk about South Korea, where driving a dirty car is illegal. Law number 15. South Korea. No driving dirty cars. Got a filthy car? In South Korea? That's more than just embarrassing. It's illegal. South Korea has a law that prohibits driving excessively dirty cars. The reasoning? A filthy vehicle is considered a public nuisance and can be fined by authorities. This rule is mostly enforced on taxis and company cars, which are expected to maintain a clean and professional appearance. However, in extreme cases, even private car owners can be ticketed for driving a dirty vehicle. So, if you ever visit South Korea and rent a car, make sure you keep it clean, or risk an unexpected fine. Now, let's head to Greece, where wearing high heels at ancient sites is a big no-no. Law number 16. Greece. No wearing high heels at ancient sites. Love high heels? That's great, but in Greece, wearing them at ancient sites is against the law. In 2009, Greece banned high heels in historical sites like the Acropolis. The reason? These shoes put too much pressure on ancient stones, causing long-term damage. With millions of tourists visiting every year, Greece had to take action to protect its heritage. Since high heels dig into soft surfaces, they were damaging fragile structures that had survived for thousands of years. So, if you're ever visiting Greece, ditch the heels and go for something more comfortable. Your feet and history will thank you. But Greece isn't the only country with strict rules. Wait until you hear why China banned foreign cartoons during prime time. Law number 17. China. No watching foreign cartoons during prime time. Love watching cartoons? If you're in China, don't expect to see your favorite foreign shows during primetime hours. Since 2006, China has banned foreign cartoons from airing between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. The goal? To promote local animation and reduce foreign influence on kids. China wants its children to grow up watching domestic content, so popular cartoons like SpongeBob and Peppa Pig have been restricted during peak viewing hours. If you're in China and want to watch your favorite foreign cartoons, you'll have to wait until after 9 p.m., or just stick to local animations. Now let's talk about the Philippines, where your license plate determines which days you can drive. Law number 18. Philippines. No driving on certain days depending on plate number. Imagine waking up, getting ready to drive, and realizing, oops, your car is banned from the roads today. In Manila, the capital of the Philippines, a number coding law restricts driving based on your license plate. Certain numbers are banned from the roads on specific days to reduce traffic congestion. This law, called Unified Vehicular Volume Reduction Program, was introduced to deal with Manila's insane traffic. For example, if your plate ends in 1 or 2, you can't drive on Mondays, and so on. If you get caught driving on a restricted day, you could face a fine. While many people find loopholes, like owning 2 cars with different plates, it's still one of the most unusual traffic laws in the world. But traffic laws aren't the only strange restrictions. Let's head to Denmark, where naming your baby requires government approval. Law number 19. Denmark. No naming your baby whatever you want. Thinking of naming your baby something unique? In Denmark, you'll need permission first. Denmark has a list of 7,000 pre-approved baby names, and parents must choose from it. If they want a unique name, they have to get it approved by the government. This law was created to protect children from ridiculous or offensive names. Authorities want names that follow Danish cultural traditions and don't cause embarrassment. If you request an unusual name, officials will review it, and if they reject it, you'll have to pick another one. So if you're thinking of naming your child Dragon Slayer or Banana, Denmark probably isn't the place for you. Now let's fly over to the UAE, where swearing on WhatsApp can get you fined or even jailed. Law number 20. United Arab Emirates. No swearing on WhatsApp. Be careful what you type. In the UAE, swearing online can land you in prison. The UAE has strict cyber laws, and swearing or using offensive emojis on WhatsApp can result in a $68,000 fine or jail time. The law applies to all digital communication, including texts, emails, and social media. Even sending a middle finger emoji could get you into legal trouble. The UAE takes online etiquette very seriously, so if you're visiting or living there, keep your messages polite or prepare for an expensive lesson. But that's nothing compared to Russia, where driving a dirty car could get you fined. Law number 21. Russia. No driving a dirty car. Got a dusty car? In Russia, that could cost you money. Russian law prohibits driving a dirty car, especially if the license plate is unreadable. Police can fine drivers if their vehicle is too filthy. This law aims to keep roads and license plates visible. Some drivers cover their plates with dirt to avoid speed cameras, so the law is enforced to prevent cheating. The fine is around 2,000 rubles, approximately $25 USD, so if you're driving in Russia, keep a car wash on speed dial. But Russia isn't the only place with odd laws. Let's go to Arizona, where donkeys can't sleep in bathtubs. Law number 22. USA, Arizona. No donkey sleeping in bathtubs. Ever let a donkey sleep in your bathtub? Well, in Arizona, that's against the law. This bizarre law dates back to 1924, when a donkey slept in a tub and caused a flood. After the rescue effort cost the town money, bathtub donkey naps were officially banned. The law was meant to prevent future disasters, but today, it's mostly just a weird piece of history. While no one's getting arrested over this anymore, it's still technically on the books. So if you own a donkey in Arizona, get them their own bed. But laws aren't just about animals. Let's head to Sweden, where spontaneous dancing is illegal. Law number 23. Sweden. No spontaneous dancing in bars. Love dancing? In Sweden, you might need a permit just to move. Sweden has a law requiring bars and clubs to have a special license for dancing. If people start dancing spontaneously, the business could get fined. This rule was made to control nightlife and prevent rowdy behavior, but it's widely considered outdated and ridiculous. While many places ignore the law, it still technically exists. So, if you're in Sweden and the music moves you, dance at your own risk. But that's nothing compared to France, where naming your pig Napoleon is illegal. Law number 24. France. No naming your pig Napoleon. Thinking of naming your pet pig Napoleon? In France, that could get you in trouble. In France, it's illegal to name a pig after Napoleon Bonaparte. This law exists to protect the dignity of the former emperor and prevent disrespect toward French history. While the law is mostly symbolic today, it originated when Napoleon Bonaparte was a major figure in France's legacy, and mocking him, even with a pig's name, was considered offensive. While you probably won't get arrested for this today, if you're a pig owner in France, maybe pick a different name, just in case. But that's not the only weird restriction. Let's talk about the UK, where hanging laundry on Sundays is banned in some areas. Law number 25. UK. No hanging laundry on Sunday, certain areas. Got laundry to do? If you're in the UK, be careful. Hanging clothes outside on a Sunday could be illegal. Some towns in the UK still have old laws banning hanging laundry outside on Sundays as part of strict Sabbath laws from centuries ago. These rules were introduced by religious communities that believe Sundays should be a day of rest. While the laws aren't widely enforced, some villages and private communities still follow them. If you're visiting certain rural areas in the UK, don't be surprised if your neighbor gives you a strange look for hanging your socks outside on a Sunday. And with that, we wrap up this list of 25 of the strangest laws from around the world. These are just 25 of the strangest laws around the world, and there are plenty more out there. Some of them are serious, some are outdated, and some are just plain bizarre. So, what do you think? Which of these laws shocked you the most? Have you ever been somewhere with a really weird law? Would you like to hear about even more crazy laws from different countries? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing facts. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more crazy, mind-blowing facts like these. Until next time, stay legal, and don't feed any pigeons.